there, welcome to my channel, Lucille Williams with Christian Talk. I saw a video today that was really upsetting. Really upsetting. I can't stop thinking about it. It just shook me to my core. It was a video of a young man coming out to his parents, telling them that he was gay. And you couldn't really see them, but you could hear, you knew the context, and you could hear what they were saying. And the parents did not take it well. And mom started just throwing out stuff about it. The first thing she said is get out, like that he had to, like she was kicking him out of the house. That was the first thing. And then she just got really angry, and it actually escalated to violence. And you hear the young man saying, "Get off of me, you B," he called his mom the B word, which that wasn't nice. But I mean, if she was on top of him and hurting him, I mean, you can't blame the kid. And I just felt so bad for this kid, this poor kid. Mom and dad were claimed to be Christians, said that, you know, they're Christians. They started throwing out biblical things. And it's so sad that a child comes out to their parents, and instead of loving that child, they just get upset and they disown them like right away, like you have to go and that's it. And it just broke my heart. It just broke my heart. And but it leaves us with the question, what does a family do? What does a mom and a dad do when a child comes out and says, "Mom, Dad, I'm a lesbian, I'm gay"? What do parents do, especially if you're a Christian family and you believe in the Bible and you see the Bible as saying that is not okay? There are people who think that the Bible says it's okay to engage in that type of a lifestyle, but that's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about is parents who their kids come out to them that, you know, this is who they identify as and this is who they are. And what's a parent to do? Well, the first thing, I think the reason this family got so upset is because it was hurtful. I mean, this mom raised this little boy from young, and you know, she probably just never expected something like that. And maybe she saw signs of it, but just, you know, was hoping that her son wouldn't be that way. And I can understand a mom feeling that way, especially if you go to a church that says that, you know, that kind of lifestyle is not okay. So I think what happens is parents are so hurt by what they're hearing, and they don't know how to process it, and they don't always act right. They don't say what's right. They don't act right. It's hard when it's painful for you to hear something. It's hard to hear it and not react in a way that you're not going to regret later. But what do you do if a child tells you that, whether it's gay or anything that you completely disagree with? How do you respond? The first thing is, we need to always respond in love. Love. If we are Christians, if we love God, God says to love. Jesus always responded in love. He always did. And he was loving. And the first thing we need to let our children know, if this is a situation that you're in, is that you love them no matter what. No matter what. Because at the end of the day, what matters is their relationship with God, and everything else is secondary. So if a child talks about this with you, probably the biggest thing on that child's heart is they're afraid they're going to be rejected. And the last thing a parent should ever do is reject their child no matter what. So if a child does express this to you, then that's the time to say, "Hey, I love you, and I love you no matter what." And that is the Christian response when a child comes out to a mom and a dad. And then hugs and embrace. But now the question lingers, but what if you don't agree? What if you believe in, like, you know, Romans chapter 1 and other places in the Bible that talk about homosexuality not being okay, you know, according to the Bible, and that's what you believe? Well, you could still believe that, and you could still love your child. The two are not the same thing. We can love someone and not always agree with them. I mean, I've been married for many years, And I do not always agree with my husband, but I always love him and I always respect him. And that's what we need to do with our kids. If they are doing things that we don't agree with, we need to embrace them. We need to love them. If they ask us our opinion on it, we could be honest, but we need to be honest in love, and we need to express to them, hey, I love you. And I mean, it's just my opinion that I don't think this is good for you, but I love you and I accept you and I always want a relationship. And I know it's a tough issue. It's a tough thing. If you're a Christian parent and your child is going through that, it's not easy for you and it's not easy for them. It's not easy for anyone involved. And if a child is dealing with that, that's a heavy thing that they've been dealing with their whole life. And if they're finally telling you, the only way to respond is in love and embrace them and love them. And back to that video I saw, it was just really sad. It was hurtful for the child and it was hurtful for the parents. I mean, I really feel like those parents were wrong. They should not have treated their son like that. I mean, that is their son. And I mean, you love your son no matter what, but it got hostile and it got aggressive and it got nasty, and God would never want us to respond like that. That to me is worse than a person identifying themselves in a way that, you know, maybe some wouldn't agree with. Like, it's just it's not okay to respond like that to your kid. It's just not. So, you know, we need to think before we react to things. I know sometimes things hurt and things come out that, you know, we wish we could take back later. I hope these parents apologize to their son later. I mean, it was sad. It was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. So remember, love your kids completely, no matter what they're going through and whether you agree with it or not. Hey, hit like, hit subscribe so you can hang out with me more often, and check out my book, From Me to We. But until next time, remember, always choose love, because love never fails.